So, welcome. Happy Friday. Let's move our bodies and free our minds so that we feel really good today. I'm going to move to my yoga space. I invite you to super casually arrive in your space. There's no rush, especially if you've been really stuck in your desk space all day and you just need a second. Let's take that time honoring our bodies and just move a little here and there, just taking a stroll around. If you're already down low, it might feel silly, but it's very soothing to just literally crawl around your space. Just try to take up space and make ourselves feel big and bold today. It's nice, isn't it? Just to kind of stroll around with no expectations, no intentions, no purpose really. Just moving as it feels good. As you're doing so, we'll connect with breath. Just to give you an idea of how to move here and there, I just shift my weight from foot to foot. Sometimes I'll step forward or back, I'll bend or straighten. If you're down on the ground, it's the same kind of a thing, a little reach, a little knee movement, maybe shifting body forward and back. We'll take one more breath, moving intuitively. And if you are still down in your yoga space, as you exhale, please bring yourself up to standing very slowly. Setting our feet just outside our hips width distance, we're going to slowly sweep our arms to the sides, thumbs up for our yoga practice, and fingers wide but wiggly. Just taking a little bit of movement through our hands. I like to really try to stretch my fingers far from one another, especially if you've been doing a lot of typing or holding your mouse or your phone today. That feels good. Reach high to the sky. Do the same thing. As you open your fingers and possibly wiggle them a bit, we'll take a shrug upwards. Let your shrug fall back down. Connect that with breath. Inhale, shrug. Exhale, release. As you're doing so, perhaps think of something you'd like to bring in energy-wise today. Maybe it's compassion or empathy for yourself. Perhaps it's patience for someone else. And each time we exhale, let's think of something we'd like to shrug away, to exhale away that's no longer serving us. It feels good to let that weight literally fall off our shoulders, doesn't it? All right, big sigh there, and let's let the hands find the low back. We're just gonna clasp right thumb on top behind your low back here. Send your knuckles downwards, encouraging your heart to rise. Envision breathing under your heart like you could fluff it or blow it up bigger, creating this beautiful open-hearted space for you to approach the rest of your Friday. Oh, it feels good. Lift up through your heart a bit more. Stretch inside your stomach. Do you feel those muscles growing? Yes. And then we're going to take that clasp overhead, left thumb on top this time. And let's try to move to our side. So we'll do a little wiggle, like you're reaching taller through right knuckles and then the left. I like to let my heel rise too and give me an extra little boost. Join me in this tiny sway side to side here. And then we'll hold our sway over to the left. Set that right heel down if it was lifted and really try to stretch away. Let's lengthen the left side as much as the right. And if this is compressing your low back, make an adjustment. So you might like to come a little forward. Just a reminder that I'll make suggestions, but you make decisions. If something doesn't feel right, change it or opt out altogether. Come to center, let the arms fall for a moment. Take a few bent elbow shoulder circles back. Tiny little circles here. That heat crept into the shoulders quickly with the arms overhead, didn't it? All right, once that is rolled out, we'll sweep back to the sky. Inhale, reach high, any thumb on top, yogi's choice. Lengthen, get a little wiggle, wiggle, and then tip to your right. Big breath in. Let's open the right ribs to the best of our ability. These want to crunch down, so we'll try to breathe openness into them. One more big breath in as you stretch right. Come on back to the center. Great job. Let's take the arms forward. I'm going to show you from the side. As you take your arms forward, we'll bend our knees just a little. Round into our low backs and try to gaze at our navels. Opening your shoulder blades in a big way. I like to take my arms as if they're a little exploratory elephant trunk, a little sway, side to side, working into, hopefully you feel your middle back here. Then we're gonna get a little lower, my friends. Release your forearms to your thighs, and we'll do a cat again, but we'll press out of the forearms. I like to have my palms up here, so the shoulders are wide. Take your eyes towards your belly, and if you don't feel like you can press, then we can use our hands. Sometimes I feel like my arms are too short to get a good press there. If you use your hands, try to turn fingers in, thumbs face your hips, and we get a good push up to that spooky cat back. Inviting you to join me in that little movement side to side, working into your lower back here. Encouraging your breath to flow there, remembering that where our attention goes, our energy flows. Let your fingers dangle down. Start to lift your knees to the best of your ability towards your thighs and hang heavy between the big toes. Forward fold. Now we're just starting, yogis, so remember we might have breathed some compassion into our bodies. Be kind here. Take as big of a generous knee bend as you need so we're not hurting our hamstrings. Ease in your breath to the back body. As you let the top of your head fall towards the floor, feel free to shake no, as in I have no time for tension in my neck. And then gently nod your head yes to you, my friends. Yes to what lights you up, makes you feel wonderful. Slowing down any shaking of your head, slowly roll yourself back to standing. Take another big luxurious breath in as you shoulder roll backwards. Let's set our shoulders back and down and sweep the arms skywards. We'll begin today with some sun salutations. Press a prayer overhead as if you're like, high five to me for getting to yoga today. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees as much as your body is craving. Halfway lift, slide fingers up your shins. Let's find a big lift for our heart, moving away from our hips. Exhale, forward fold. Slide back with your right leg. Give it a little tick-tock through your heel to get even longer. And then we'll settle down into our right knees, shins, and tops of feet. Once you're there, uplift your body, stretch fingertips skywards. Go long like you're shooting little finger fireworks. Exhale, keeping your ribs knitted in, no back bend yet. Pull the elbows down towards a goalpost or a cactus. Take another big breath in and let's press forward. Forearms come in front of our nose. Tuck in round elbows towards your navel. Angry cat back again. Inhale up to your goalpost elbows. Reach back, fingertips fireworks skywards. And frame out your left foot. I like to try to let the hips get heavy here. Shift your hips back to your right heel, half split. One more hamstring stretch. Keeping our left knee soft, let's direct our noses towards our left toes. And a minor adjustment, if you sway your hips a little side to side, we're gonna try to check in and see, are they squared? Are all 5 left toes squared towards your hips? That'll help us stretch all the way across that hamstring, left to right. One more breath here. Shimmy or slide on forward. However movement feels good today is what we do. Slide your left knee back, find a tabletop, and we'll just hold once we've aligned. Knees under hips and our hands under our shoulders. Yogi's choice how your toes are aligned, sat down or tucked under. We're just gonna tent our fingertips, my friends. And as you tent your fingertips, envision there's a ball that you're trying to squeeze and pop in your palm. So we wanna try to take our finger pads towards one another. Let's alternate there. Right fingertips tenting, flatten out. Left fingertips tenting, flatten out. Warming up our wrists. If it's really easy for you to do this, then we'll try tenting both at the same time. Little tent up, Flatten back down. I like toes tucked, so it feels like you have little breaks to help you not shift too far back there. Tense, release, try 2 more. Tense, release, try to pull together, pull, pull, pull. And we're gonna come up and hold. Squeeze the finger pads towards one another. See if you can bend all of your knuckles. No fingers look splayed. Nice job. Exhale, flatten back out. And we'll take a stroll forward. Shift your body weight towards your fingertips, shoulders in front of wrists. Stroll on back, hips to heels. Inhale as you slide forward. Exhale, gliding on back. Feels more intense forward, yes? Okay, so do you think we could hold it forward? You don't have to move once you get there, but you do have to breathe. Don't forget the important parts. If it feels like you could move, though, join me. I'm doing just a micro pulse forward. 3, 2, that's tough stuff. And 1, beautiful job. Let's rest back, bringing the tops of our hands onto our thighs. I'm sitting on my heels. My toes are tucked, yogi's choice there. And we're gonna get a stretch for the top of our wrists. So we'll put the back of our hands down. Fingers face either our hip bones or inwards. Oh, it's so nice after all that wrist work, isn't it? I like to wiggle my fingers. It's fun to try to make a fist because it's hard. So try to make a little fist. Oh, do you think you can get your thumb onto your middle finger? Try not to make a funny face like me. Inhale, open. Exhale, close that soft fist. All right, enough of that. Come back to your tabletop. Are your wrists okay? Soft down. All right, let's down dog it, my friends. Tuck your toes, lift your hips skywards. We care about our spines, so we want long spines. We don't care whether our heels are up or down, our knees are bent or straight. We're finding what feels good for our bodies today. Movement or stillness is great. Doing what's great for you for 2 breaths. Full exhalation there. And we're going to take a tiptoe on forward. On your next in-breath, look where you'd like to land. Just slide your feet, step your feet, or if you're feeling spunky, you can hop into forward fold. Let's roll our spines to rise. Tuck your chin to your chest. Roll up one itty-bitty section of spine at a time. And if something feels really great to just kind of hang out and dangle, go ahead. Hang there for as long as you'd like. Rejoin us, rolling to standing when you're ready. Maybe the backward shoulder roll's a little bigger this time. Oh, it feels so good. Love those. Sweep your arms to the sky. Rejoin me for round 2 of sun salutations. We're just halvesies right now. We'll get the whole thing on in a moment. From forward fold, we'll halfway lift inhale. Exhale, forward fold again. Left leg slides all the way back. Try to tick-tock your heel a little to get a longer step. Settle down, left knee shin and top of foot. Hang out heavy there for a sec. And then rise, dynamic stretch skywards, really lift. Goal post when you're ready. Remember that our ribs want to be knitted in here, so we're trying not to splay open and back bend. Really scary. We're just gonna stay long for a moment. Exhale, press forearms together, tuck and round. Elbows to navel, eyes follow elbows. Reopen into your goal post, re-stretch to the sky. Really long fingers. Love opening up the knuckles there. And release. Shift back, half split. Let's check in that all 5 toes are squared. So if the big toe is pulling in, we know we're sitting that right hip out a little bit. We'll just try to adjust. Take some micro movements. I always like to slide that straight leg forward a little bit. And then we'll envision that we could set our chins on top of our right toes. With a soft right knee, we're breathing through the back of our right legs. That's not easy to do. Hamstrings, I don't know about you, but on me are habitually tight, so it's always a tough one. Come forward when you're done. Take as much time as you'd like. Low lunge, bring your right knee back. We're finding our tabletop again. And we're catting and cowling. But option, my friends, to do so with your tented fingers today. It's been a while since we've explored these, so I brought them back. If you do, remember they're not splayed. We don't want to hurt our knuckles. We're pulling in to try to squish a softball in our palms. Exhale, round your back skywards, angry cat, eyes up towards navel. Inhale, drop navel down, lift tail, bring eyes just to the wall in front of you. Try to avoid looking too high. Exhale, round. You can tuck your toes on your cows. If your fingertips are tented, that might be a little challenging today. And we'll try 2 more rounds. You're moving at the pace of your unique breath. Doesn't matter if you're faster or slower than anyone else you can see or hear during your practice. When you've made your way back to neutral with your palms flat, let's take a big step forward with our hands. Tuck our toes and rise hips high to downward facing dog. We are going to move together on this round, my friends. Let's bend and straighten, alternating knees. Pedaling out to lengthen into our calves here. And as you breathe, envision that you have helium flooding your sits bones, your backside. Really lifting and lengthening you skywards as you pedal your heels downwards. Now that we did all that tenting of our fingers, we'll try to flatten out our knuckles, really widen our hands. Try one more breath through your pedal. Next inhale, we slow down any movements. We take our eyes forward and journey on back to forward fold. You can tiptoe, slide, step, step, or hop. Hang heavy, release the upper body. Release expectations for your practice. And as you breathe in something that you're hoping for today. Feel free to roll. You could flat back hinge. Maybe you're hoping to bring in some productivity for this afternoon. Whatever you need, it is yours. Exhale, hands through heart center. Rise back through midline. Inhale, we're going to add on to this sun salutation. Forward fold, please. Big exhale to take you there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sit down with your hips. Inhale, arms just to your sides, thumbs up. Chair pose. I always find the arms overhead so challenging though. So it's really nice just to feel very bold and wide in our chests here. If you're a purist, feel free to reach your arms up. As you exhale, we forward fold again. Right leg lunges back, but it's an elevated lunge for this round. Take a big lift skywards. If it doesn't feel good on that back knee to be lifted, let it set itself back down. One inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to grab your right forearm or wrist. Take a big stretch over to your left side. And if you're not holding your wrist, it might be nice to roll out a little bit there. Go both ways if you took it for a roll. Reach back. Oh, that was awesome. Back to the sky, open the arms, and find your way down to low lunge. Hands frame your left foot. Step back to either table or straight to downward facing dog. Okay, we're gonna add on, my friends. Inhale, move forward, finding your plank position, shoulders align over your wrists. Drop your knees if you'd like. They're diagonal from your shoulders. We bend our elbows to hug our ribs, finding our way down to our stomachs. As you get there, walk your feet back far and bring your thumbs just outside your middle rib cage. Keep hugging your elbows in. Breathe in from the top of your head. Breathe out through your tailbone. Lengthen those spaces. Breathe in again through the top of your head. And as you exhale, we're pushing through our palms to lift as much of our chest off the floor as it feels strong. Sometimes strong feels good. Sometimes strong feels hard. So whatever you're feeling, know we're all in it together, stronger together. One more breath in. Press, squeeze shoulder blades, strengthen your back body. Exhale, release, soften your backside. Let your hips shake side to side. Press back to child's pose. Knees wide or close together, yogi's choice. Wrap your right hand to the outside of your right pinky toe and rest your left temple on the ground, or bend your left elbow and rest it on the back of your hand. We're just gonna chill here for a second, stretch out our necks. Let's take our faces back towards our yoga mat, reach back to extended child's pose. Slide up to tabletop, toes tuck, hips rise. We're back in downward facing dog. Now, whatever feels good, yogis, please linger. That's why we came to class after all. Lift your right leg when you're ready. Inhale, think long. I don't care about how high it's lifted ever. But we want to push away. So from the top of your head to your right foot is long. Let's look forward. Find your thumbs and try to step right between them, maybe behind them a little. If you got stuck, grab your ankle and slide it forward. We're back for that big lunge. Find your way to high lunge. Reach for the sky. Nice. Are you breathing into your left hip flexor? It's a good place to breathe in this position. Let's take a hold of our left forearm or wrist and tip our bodies to the right. If you're gonna wobble and fall over, try widening your lunging stance, left to right. And if you have freedom in your wrist, we're gonna take it for a little roll. Going both ways. Stretch back to the sky, go slow, love your body. Exhale, release, frame out your right foot, and then we'll step forward, yogis. Finding your fold, hang out, maybe your hanging out feels like movement. You might like to tick-tock, side to side, or find a C-shaped nose curving around your toes. And when the mood strikes, we'll find our way to standing slowly. The whole duration of your in-breath is how we arrive. Shoulders up, back and down. Inhale, let's try again. Breath high, extended mountain pose. Stay for a moment. Would you like to widen your feet a little? Wiggle around, balls of feet wide from blade edges. Elevate out of your heels if you feel grounded. Doesn't mean we're not falling over or rocking and rolling, but we feel very stable in the balls of our feet, right? I hope so. Little ankle wiggle is very normal. Heels down, fold down. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, sit into your hips, chair pose. Wherever your arms want to be, as wide as your feet want to be. This is your practice. Do good for you today. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg takes that long lunge back. We're gonna rise all the way back up. Swivel this time. Once you're elevated, swivel that back foot flat. Now, do you notice how my chest and hips are still forward? It's a warrior one. Sometimes this is a challenge to get the hips forward. If that's the case, try widening your stance and it might be more swivelable. All right, clasping behind low back, uplift your heart. I like to try to stretch my knuckles down towards my left heel in this one. Rebend that right knee, make it challenging. This is where we grow. Excellent job. And as we straighten slowly through our right leg, we're gonna find pyramid pose. So let's bring our hands to our hips, get a little attitude here. And once you find it, think about trying to swivel your hips a little forward, descending as far as it feels good for you. This is a very long front to back pyramid stance. You are welcome to step your back leg forward if that makes pyramid feel better for your body. If you're feeling good in your right hamstring, you may like to drop the fingertips outside the right foot. Making any adjustments necessary to feel the back of your right leg. Tugging right hip back is nice. Guiding left hip point forward is nice. Most importantly, we're breathing space into our bodies. Let's try one more big breath in. And as you exhale, swivel your left heel high. You might like to wiggle that foot all the way back again for a long lunge. We're gonna drop back to downward facing dog. You take as many moves to get there as it feels nourishing for you. Breathing twice through your dog. I love a big sigh in downward facing dog. So I like to breathe in through the nose and then open my mouth and make some noise, just like a feels very grounding. On your inhale, let's roll forward. We're gonna find that plank position again. Exhale, you're welcome to use your knees. We're descending. Elbows will point towards our toes as we slowly find our way through the exhale. Lying flat, breathing through the tips of your toes to find length. Yogis, for this round, we're moving into Sphinx. Find your forearms. They're parallel to one another. And as we uplift our chest, drag your elbows back towards your toes. That improves the sensation, yeah? Definitely intensifies it, I know that. Optionally working on our necks, chin to chest. We'll roll right ear to right shoulder, just a little bit, goes a long way. I like to really draw my shoulder heads down and back. I'm dragging my elbows back, so there's lots of space for our neck to move. Roll left ear to left shoulder, pause for a second. And then moving side to side as it feels good. A little half roll here and a half roll there. My eyes are closed. My jaw is separated, bottom from the top, unclenched, allowing the space and the relaxation to settle in. When you come back to the center, let's elevate eyes just forward and land back down. Hands about middle rib height. We're gonna slide on back to child's pose. Taking that beautiful reach around with the left hand, land it on the floor next to your baby toes. Turn eyes left, rest on right temple on the floor, or on the back of your right hand. Taking a moment here to chill. I've been doing a little bit of open knee child's pose lately. I usually have them closed. I like to rest my stomach on my thighs. But I'm finding a little bit of a deeper sensation, a little bit more opening in my stomach, a little bit back bend with the wide knee child's pose. Just an example of how your practice might change from day to day. Eyes to floor, left arm overhead. Let's realign ourselves in table. Tuck your toes and lift your hips. Downward facing dog. We're gonna take that big, beautiful breath in. Through the sits bones, lift them and exhale out the bottom of your feet. Let your heels melt in. Wide, flat fingers. Next inhale elevates our left leg. Go long, yogis. Push breath through the bottom of that foot. Eyes look where you'd like to land, and we're gonna step forward, finding high lunge again. Climb to the sky. Adjust that right foot so it's flat. And if you felt like you're on a tightrope, you can wiggle your feet wider so that your hips are swivelable. So I like a little sass. We're gonna go and then try to swivel your right hip forward. It's okay if it won't happen. Gentle self-assist. Re-reach to the sky, clasp around your low back and stretch down through the knuckles to the right heel. Arms rise again. Let's find a pyramid pose. So we're gonna slowly straighten the left leg, and then you can keep your hands on your hips to halfway fold. I'm gonna adjust my right foot a bit more forward and in, trying to pull the right hip point forward and the left sits bone back. We fold as much as it feels good. Think about bringing collarbones forward. If it feels nice in your body to find the floor with your fingers, please join me. Paying attention to that left leg, breathing up and down, over and across, inside and outside, that left leg. Trying one more, my friends. Breathing into your body, nourishing it with every breath. Let's allow our right heels to rise. I'm gonna tic-tac mine back a little bit so we can bend our left knees and find our way back to that lunge. And then we're gonna plant hands, and I'm very sneaky, press back again, downward facing dog. Going through one more round of this chaturanga today. So we're gonna take a big breath in, finding your plank. Hold for a moment. You can always drop your knees, but what would it feel like if you dug down with the hands, squeezed thumbs towards one another, and felt like they were dragging back towards your toes? How strong did your plank just get? Descend on any exhale, lie flat. You can revisit our baby cobra or our sphinx. Most importantly, find length. An option this time to lift to up dog. Palms flat by your sides, elbows hugging in. As you straighten your arms, your knees and thighs will rise. Eyes look just gently forward at the wall. If you're looking up, just try to correct any eyebrow arching. Soften your face so it doesn't look scary. Press back, child's pose. Give yourself a moment to settle. Let's try to keep our arms long overhead, extending, lifting and hollowing the armpits and breathing energy through the back body. One more time to rise on up, my friends, making our way to balance. Let's shift back forward, table to dog. Tuck toes, rise. As you inhale, look where you'd like to land and make your way up to forward fold. We'll roll ourselves to rise. Reaching skywards with our arms, our hearts, maybe our eyes, and maybe our heels. After all, we're moving into balance, so why not? Let's start now. Give yourself a sense of grace if you fell out. No worries. Come back if you'd like and when you can. Let's drop out of that extended mountain pose. Heels down, eyes forward. Let the arms fall. Maybe a shoulder roll. Set up, back, and down. Soft V at the bottom of your blades. Hug your left knee up, but we're going to try to hold under the thigh today. We're going to go leg extending in all directions. That'll be fun. This is our balance today. So we know that we can keep a lift in just the heel. And as we leg extend in all the directions, it could stay toes down, right? Okay. Do we need your hands? Can we let the right one go? Can we let the left one go? All right, you can do whatever you want with your arms. You can keep holding under your thigh if you'd like. Press the ball of your foot forward. Take a big lift here. Squeeze through your quad. Rebend. Now you can re-hug if you need to. Move your left knee to the left side. Soften your face and your right toes. Yes, we don't want to use energy that we don't need to use. Press your left leg long again. Rebend, bring it back to center. Big breath in. Stay lifted in your chest, but stretch your leg back behind you. Tap the floor if it feels best. Finishing, you're almost done. Reach hands back. Going for airplane pose. And as you find it, yogis, we'll try to square our hips again so that we really work deeply into the right glute. Optionally, as you're reaching fingers back, you can bend your left knee. One more big breath in. Re-extend any bent knees. Come to standing. Hug your left knee to chest. Set it down. Let's try to extinguish the 5-alarm fire in our right leg. Shake it out. Let go. Just be silly. Shake yourself around. We want to let go of everything in our minds, our bodies. All right, once that cools off a bit, we know we're ready to go to the other side. Might not want to, but our bodies are ready. Hug up that right knee. We're just going to hang out for a few moments. Feel free to hug it with your hands. Let's let that buzz start to creep in, blossoming some heat through the right leg as well. Let's see if we can get rid of our left hands. Maybe our right hands too? Okay, let's move. Push forward with the ball of your right foot. Squeeze through your quadricep. Rebend. Open your right knee to the right side. Could be on the ground. Press away, squeeze through your quadricep. Rebend, center, stay very lifted in your heart. Breathe in, breathe out, push your right leg back, stay lifted. Let's find airplane pose. Fingers reach to right toes, a little squaring of your hips as you halfway fold, or fold to the best of your ability. There's no clouds in our sky. We are turbulence-free, yogis. Would you like to bend your right heel towards your backside? Is your chin tucked towards your chest? How long can you be? Re-extend any bent knees. Come back to standing. Hug that right knee in. One more breath. As you let it go, let go of all the heat. Big exhales through an open mouth will be helpful. Shaking it like a Polaroid picture, even more helpful. Yes, we gotta let loose. Okay, so it might take a second. If you're really buzzing, you can give a little rub, a little bang bang with your knuckles or a fingertip. And once we've let it go, we're good. One more stretch to the sky, extended mountain. As you exhale, find your way down. I'm gonna land my hands on my thighs, bend my knees for a super gentle forward fold. And we'll bend our left legs. Please bend those first. Set that outer calf or shin down. But as we set up on our back sides, we're just gonna hold that right knee bent in front of our left shins. Position yourself so you feel flesh-free under your sits and tailbones. No pinching, right? Okay. Now, if you feel good here, we could cross over the left thigh. If it's too tough, you can always straighten your left leg. Otherwise, my friends, we're gonna give this knee a big hug. No matter where it's placed, give it a hug. Sit tall. All right, let's twist to the right side. Press your right hands on your mats. Sit taller through the top of our head, breath flows. And during an exhale, we're just peeking off to the right side. Think about your left ribs twisting in to the right thigh. I like to let my eye gaze wander too. We're gonna travel to the right with your eyes. Noticing when I move my eyes, do my shoulders follow my eye cues? And we know our body's best, so stay if we need to wring anything else out from our spines in this direction. We'll counter twist to the left if it feels good for you. Keep your legs, but come undone. Move your body gently off to the left side. I like to lift my right cheek. Some folks come down really low, like a push-up. Just gently twist your body to the left. And as you sit yourself back down on both hips, we'll take the right leg and uncross it if it were crossed, and then we'll straighten both legs. That's better. Point and flex through the feet, ankles. Open and close your toes like some scissors. Tick-tock, circle, just moving and grooving. All right, let's fold up like a pretzel again. We know that the bottom leg can stay straight, right? But if you'd like, right knee bent, sitting down with no flesh stuck under bones. And then we'll hug left knee in front of right shin or over the thigh. If you went over the thigh and then you popped off through the left sits bone, let's try to set that back down. Yeah, and if it's not possible, we'll uncross. Okay, big hug for that left knee. It just feels good to give ourselves a hug. We deserve it. Let's plant the left hand down to help us grow a little taller. I always envision here when you used to rub your head with a balloon when you were a kid, right? And then your hair would stand up and grow. That's what I envision when I think about breathing into my skull, my crown. Shift your eyes to the left as your shoulders begin a gentle twist. Right ribs moving towards your left thigh, even drawing your navel in, can help you twist a bit more deeply. And as you're trying a couple of more rounds of breath, consider softening maybe your mind, maybe your heart, perhaps just the muscles in your face. expending less energy and letting go somewhere. Opening your twist, coming to the right side. You could let your left hip disconnect on this one as we swivel to the right, softening. Sitting ourselves back down onto both hips equally. Moving the hands behind us this time, fingers swivel back as thumbs turn out. And we're uncrossing and straightening both of our legs. Now you can do all the movements in your feet and ankles again if you'd like, but I also would like you to stretch your chest and shoulders. So once we get our hands placed and our shoulders wide, we're gonna uplift our hearts. Okay, I'm gonna move a little bit through my feet. That feels good. And then once you're done with all the foot movements, let's bend our knees, feet flat, and try to slide hips towards your heels. The more you slide, you might have to walk your hands in a little bit, but we're trying to boost our hearts all the way to the sky. If it feels nice, you're squeezing your shoulder blades, so there's a little pillow back there. You could let your head drop back. We'll enjoy another breath here. Can't you breathe so much bigger when you open your chest and shoulders like this? Sometimes we don't realize we can breathe so big, but it's probably because our posture is a little slouchy. So our yoga reminds us what we're capable of. If your head fell back, we're going to drop that back in, chin to chest before we move. And then we'll slide straight on back with the hips. Let your fingers face your toes again. Keep on sliding. And let's square back up through our feet, extending long. Little micro bend in the knees. And we'll use our hands on either side of our legs to climb out as far as we can. Reaching towards the bottoms of your feet, or maybe you take a grip onto the side of your mat. Try to gently pull your nose towards your toes. For 2 breaths, we're going to try to stay super engaged, energized, and long. And then we'll chill for 2 breaths. One more. Big breath in. Stay with that really active spine. Stay with that flex in your toes towards your nose. Stay with your active arms. And at the bottom of that exhale, let everything get soft. Let your elbows bend, your back round, your head hang, your toes fall out to the side. That's a yummy one, isn't it? Stay longer if you like it, but if you're ready to move on, let's bring our hands around our shoulder width to help us to seated. And then we're going to close the bottoms of our feet. Let's bring our knees wide like you have a butterfly wing. And move that flesh out again. You can use your hands, or I just kind of wiggled mine free so you don't feel any pinching. Heels close or far from groin, yogi's choice. Easy opening on the inner thighs. If you're super tight in your hips and your knees are high, it's okay, but you might want to put some pillows or yoga blocks if you have them under your knees so they feel supported. Yeah, we can just hang out, or we can use our forearms or elbows, just gently leaning side to side. I'm kind of swaying as I lean. No rush here. Just moving and self-assisting, a beautiful inner thigh, inner hip, inner groin stretch. If you're doing this movement with me, try to unclench your jaw, because sometimes we grip, we hold back. Yeah, that doesn't allow us to sink as deeply into the stretches as we could. We're making our inner thigh stretches a little bigger, bit by bit here. As you come back into the center, let's lean back for a moment, fingers back, thumbs out. Just give your chest and heart lots of space to find that big old breath again. And while you're here, we're going to step our feet outside hips width. Knees are still bent. Feet are attempting to be flat. We might have our inner big toes rolled up. It's okay. But if we can, we're going to lift our butts and scoot them back a little bit more. Try to fold inside our knees for turtle pose. Did you do it? Okay, scoot back more if you need to. And try to flatten your feet and then bring your hands inside your thighs. I know, it's a tough one. Reach forward to draw your belly in on an inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can find your way to a turtle shell back. Round your back again. Hang heavy. If you'd like to go a bit further, you could thread each wrist behind the ankle to make your little back turtle feet. Allow them to stick out the back sides of your turtle shell. Sometimes I like to move a bit through this, so I'll bring my nose forward towards the top of the mat, kind of like you're poking your turtle head out, and then gently tuck your chin back in, round your back. See how that feels? Being curious with movement here, finding what feels good. If you threaded hands under the ankles, let's bring those back out and slowly rise back to seated. We'll put our hands behind again and then scoot your butt a little bit forward. So we're gonna try to straighten our legs in a V. I did an evil laugh there because I have a little add-on that you can opt in or out of today. But we're gonna sit up tall and just check in. Do you feel anything in your thighs? You might feel a lot, and that means you probably wanna stay. If you're not feeling much, we're gonna move it. So we're gonna go one hand in front, one hand in back. And we lift our butt and scoot forward. So I'm gonna show you from the side. I think 3 is a magical number here. I don't ever get further than 3. So one hand in front, one hand in back, lift your butt and go scoot. It's like an inch, right? But it makes a big difference. Lift, scoot, legs are getting wider. Lift, scoot. Okay, once you get there, you'll know, because it's very intense. And there's not much we can do usually here. We can stay and breathe. We can try to fold. I don't really get very far in this one, but it sure does feel good. The challenge is good. All right, yogis, let's try to hang on softly here for 3 breaths. With the hands, sometimes we prevent ourselves from going anywhere. So we're gonna unkickstand our arms and shoulders. We're gonna try to soften into our elbows and our fingers. And try not to rush this last breath. Take a really slow breath. Like that saying, we're gonna fake it till we make it. Today, we're gonna face it. We're gonna face this inner thigh stretching until we make it. So very flexible inner thighs, aren't we? Teamwork. Ooh, all right, on any exhale, let's lift. You might feel quite stuck here, me too. So we'll take each leg and just gently help it forward. Slide it forward, there we go. Hug on in, knees to chest. And then widen outside hips width again. Hands slowly, softly land behind you. Let's take a tiny tick-tock. We wanna let our hips resituate themselves. Good time for a big exhale, yeah? All right, so my friends, we're about to descend onto our backs. It is only 1:54. I think it's gonna switch to 1:55 soon. But if you need to leave 5 minutes early, I would probably not come to my back because then you just have to get right back up. So if you're leaving, have a great day. Thank you for coming and happy Friday. And if you're feeling loose in your hips and you can stay, we're gonna find the center with our knees, hold the backs of our thighs and C-shape into our spines. Okay, once we C-shape into our spines, make sure there's no flesh under your tail. Roll yourself back, take your knees with you. Oh, that's nice. And once we get flat through the backs of our heads, hold on to your shins or your kneecaps instead. We're just gonna rock side to side. It's so nice if you have tightness and tension in your back. I feel like this is such a good therapy. You can roll your knees in circles. Try tucking your chin towards your chest and lengthen the back of your spine. And then if you circle, let's go both ways. And once you feel pretty good through your back, you could do this for the next 5 minutes if you'd like, because I know I love that movement too. But if you'd like to move with me, we're gonna put your right foot flat. Keep that left knee hugged in and just move a little bit through your ankle here. Roll it, point it, flex it. Then flex it for good. Cross it over your right thigh, and then gently with the left hand or fingers, we're going to press away to open our hip flexor here. Take a breath all the way around that left hip point. And reach your arms through the window when you're ready. You're going to hug on to your right hamstring, or you choose your right shin is also an option. I'm going to go hamstring and then straighten my right toes to the sky. Let's make sure our left ankle bones are across the thigh so we don't feel pokey. And as you gently pull inwards, right leg towards your chest, if your left elbow connects to your left thigh, give it a little push away. Stay there as long as your hips and hamstring like. And we're going to widen our hands, rebend our right legs, and slowly drop the whole figure four to the right side. You might need to shift your hips a little left before you descend. Let's soften our eyes to the left side and take a breath into this twist. You could use your right hand to keep pushing the left knee away if it feels good. Releasing through the arms again, eyes to sky. I uncross my legs, but if you want to be super intense about it, you can roll back up through your figure four. I'm going to uncross, bring my knees together and slide my hips and knees back to center. Right knee, give it a squeeze on into your chest and roll a little bit or a lot through that right ankle. Give it a nice strong flex. Over the left thigh we go for a push with our right hand or fingers. Flood the right hip space with some breath. When you're ready, reach through the window to grab left thigh or shin. Keep the knee bent. I'm going to straighten mine. And my elbow does connect to my right knee, so I'll use it to boost the knee back away from the shoulder. Doing whatever feels good here. Reclined figure four. Some call it reclined pigeon. Allowing arms to float open. The whole figure four falls left. I'm going to bend my left leg, shift my hips right, and then let the figure four fall. A little bit more aligned for your spine that way. And then join me if you'd like with a gentle press away with your right knee. Releasing any pushing on the right knee. Let's all bend both knees and let them fall on top of one another. Turn your whole body to the left, resting on your left upper arm for a moment. Isn't that nice? Don't stay too long though, because if you're like me, you could conk out here really fast. So we'll use our right hands, push down, turn that corner, try to roll yourself around to your tabletops again. I know, that was such a teaser. Felt like nap time, didn't it? Move on back, walk hands to knees, and then lift your knees, crouching down low for a moment. Filling up with a little bit of energy to float your hips skywards. Exhale into forward fold. Fill up with a lot of energy to float your whole body skywards. Fingertips included. Reach for whatever you hope to achieve today, anything you wanted to breathe in, and then press it together, bring it down to heart center, even breathe it deep into your heart. Maybe it was compassion or empathy for yourself, patience for others. And on your next exhale, send it out to those who may also benefit from that. Tuck our chins in gratitude for our practice together, for our amazing bodies that awoke today, and for the gift of a yoga practice. I'm bowing my head deeply in admiration and gratitude for you. Thank you for allowing me to lead you. Namaste, yogis. My light treasures you. Have a beautiful weekend.